instances of paranormal phenomena have been reported in this desolate place. Events that may reflect the area's tragic past.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Other Dangerous Podcast. We talk all things paranormal. I'm Ken James, and this is Jason McKittrick.
Hey, folks.
And if you're going Hell or Dwell in the Dark, we want to talk about it. And tonight, let's go to Victorian era London to talk about a sassy little bitch we like to call Spring-Heeled Jack.
So sassy.
He is, man. We were talking about the fit god, apparently. This guy in his outfits.
Very much about the boots.
Yeah,
I feel like
boots.
they all, I guess, spring heels. So they got to show the heels. You see how much the heel is on display in some of these illustrations?
Right. And at first I was thinking this is a spring heel, like for springtime,
No.
Or summer, it's a spring heel. We wear these heels.
No, this is to spring you into, somebody's bedroom and just like rip their whole night up or whatever he does.
Yeah. Or he does some weird shit.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, I will be bringing you guys tonight's jump scare. All right, thanks, Cam. Well, as most of us are aware, or if we're not aware, we should be, Congress had another hearing about UAPs. Now, we will get more into that, but I'm going to be reading an excerpt from one of the witnesses, one of the professional witnesses, their testimony. Boy, oh boy.
It was a bombshell.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I really liked it, and I'm glad that we are including it in this episode.
Yes. So this story comes from Dr. Tim Gaudet, a retired Rear Admiral of the U.S. Navy. He was the first of four witnesses making an extraordinary statement Wednesday at the hearing called the Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena Exposing the Truth. The Admiral said that information from whistleblowers about UAPs indicated that their technology represents a new realization that we are not the only advanced intelligence in the universe. He goes on, as a former science agency leader, I have always sought the truth in human knowledge and thought. Now we know UAP are interacting with humanity, and these include unidentified submerged objects, or USOs, in the ocean, and we should not keep our heads stuck in the sand, but boldly face the new reality to learn from it. Confirmation that UAPs are interacting with humanity came from me in January 2015 when I was serving as commander of the Naval Meteorology and Oceanography Command. At the time, my personnel were participating in a pre-deployment naval exercise off the U.S. East Coast that included the USS Theodore Roosevelt Carrier Strike Group. This exercise was overseen by the United States Fleet Force Command, led by a four-star admiral who also served as my superior officer. During this exercise, I received an email on the Navy Secure Network from the operations officer of Fleet Forces Command. The email was addressed to all subordinate commanders, and the subject line read, in all capital letters, urgent safety of flight issue. The text of the email was brief but alarming, with words to the effect, if any of you know what these are, tell me ASAP. We are having multiple near mid-air collisions, and if we do not resolve it soon, we will have to shut down the exercise. Attached to the email was what is now known as the Go Fast video captured on the forward-looking infrared sensor on board one of the Navy FA-18 aircraft participating in the exercise. The now declassified video showed an unidentified object exhibit flight and structural characteristics unlike anything in our arsenal. Let me be clear, UAPs are real, advanced technologies not made by our government, any other government, or monitoring sensitive military installations around the globe. Furthermore, the U.S. is in the process of in the possession of UAP technologies and are some of our adversaries. I believe we are in the midst of a multi-decade secret arms race, one funded by mislocated taxpayer dollars and hidden from our elected representatives and oversight bodies. God damn.
Yeah, man. It's, it's just more doubling down on, the shit that's been going on the last couple of years, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, it's almost like that one guy said, he was like, they're just letting it out in, dribs and drabs to just let everyone, to get people used to it.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Hey, man, enough of that shit's been, it's just out there now. You know what I mean? Like, you get all these videos and it's just there now, it's like, but what exactly they are, because, you never see the word alien. So,
no.
or even extraterrestrial. So I'm, show us.
Yeah, right.
I want to see it all.
We've heard biologics from David Grush, but
right. Which, and he said specifically that we're with these craft, which we all want it. This is what we want for Christmas. Give this to us.
and with that, like that statement, like that could even mean like this stuff is like, like a membrane inside of it that controls it. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know if it's like a figure, it's not, we don't know if it's zip zap or gleep gloop. J-Rod, we don't know. It could be some weird shit.
I mean, who knows? I mean, it could be
the blob.
I don't know. What's that?
The blob.
It could be. I mean, or it could just be very, very advanced, artificial intelligence. I mean, people have been talking about that for a while, that like, specifically like the Greys are essentially just like robots that, that they use because, biological bodies really can't survive inside these craft because of, what they can do. So who knows, man? I just know I want to see what it is. I want aliens.
They report back to their reptilian overlords.
That too. Shapeshifters and whatever else all those people are up to.
All right. Well, with that being said, we're going to go over to Jay for tonight's haunted headline.
Haunted headline.
All right, thanks, Ken. So this kind of just, dovetails from the last article, scary alien stuff. But this is really related to, what's going on here with more of these congressional hearings, right? And this just came out in USA Today. The original was published in August 31st of 2023, but now they had a big update today, actually, which is really interesting. Really what it really comes down to is that this is, like I was just saying before, this is like a ramping up. I mean, from 2017 on, the Pentagon has this program, right? And this was the biggest bombshell, that this program actually does exist. It's not, it's not this bullshit Project Blue Book nonsense. This is real. This is like, there are allocated funds to this that, and a lot of them, I'm sure. They've been studying reports of mysterious flying objects in our skies for a long ass time.
Yep.
So the important thing about this is that we've been talking about these Navy pilots that have come forward, and the high level intelligence officers that have now shared stuff. So it's like anyone who knows anything has essentially spoken at this point, right? I mean, we're just waiting for the smoking man to show up in Congress and have a talk with us. Yeah,
pretty much. He'll just come up and he'll just be like, "Do you want to fucking see it? Do you want to fucking see it? Here it is."
He'll be like, "I don't know if you're ready to see it, Agent Mulder," or whatever.
Yeah. I was thinking about that today, like because it's coming. The first time you do see whatever the biological thing is, what like I got the chills thinking about it. Like, there it is.
Whoa. Careful. Don't talk about chills. Yeah. He didn't hear us because he's not as prevalent as he used to be.
Okay, right. His reach has shrunk.
Yeah, big time. Yeah. My 10-year-old makes fun of him now, so we know what's up.
Good. Sick. Yes. That's what we like.
That was close. I wasn't ready for one of his things today.
Yeah, some of his antics. I don't have it in me at this point.
Right.
Too much going on.
Exactly. It's a charged time right now.
Yeah.
Highly charged.
Yeah.
No, it's I agree with you, man. If that'll be like those pictures of gray aliens we used to see on sightings, and like, you know, me specifically, when I would see him, be like, oh, don't show that again. Like your chest, you get like cold in your chest. You're like,
don't show that again.
Yeah, don't show that again.
Oh, no.
Yeah, your heart shrivels every time they fucking show it.
Yeah,
but. And would be even more funny. What if they already showed us? It was those whack ass Mexican ones from fucking, what was that, like 2 years ago? The paper mache aliens.
Yes.
Wouldn't that be funny if, like, no, these are real?
Well, here's the deal. After that was disproven, it's been coming out more and more that all those things of what it was bullshit. Yeah. And like they actually retested them again, and they're like, no. Everything they ran out and said was fake was false. Like these are real. And I'm like, I don't know.
I can't trust any of that bullshit. So.
No.
Yes, same. I am waiting for that, because now it feels like it's like, okay, they've shown us the good shit. They've shown us, you know, the cube inside of the sphere, right? Like we're ready for shit. Yeah. That thing that looked like Squirtle, you know.
Right. Well, they were saying in these hearings, they fucking, dude, they have like thousands of high res. He's like, not the blurry bull crap.
Yep.
High res photos and videos of these crafts.
Yes.
And it's like, they're not releasing them. You know, we got to know. You got to show the American people what they're up against here.
And it's kind of interesting, too, because, like, you know, we love talking about this shit, but, like, are they, like, they have these pictures, right? But they want to know more. But even our own government's like, we can't catch up to them. We get pictures, but that's it.
Yeah. Right.
It's like they're fucking with us, and it's just like we want to get close, and like they have like these high level pictures, you know, the pictures they got, you know, they have them up on the screen. They're like, this could be this could be an exhaust port, this could be the propulsion, this could be, and it's like they can't get past that. Like they can't scratch anything past beyond that.
It'd be so funny if there's like some like super like just like dedicated hacker kind of style, you know, photo analyst guy, and he's enhance. Yeah. He's like there clicking away. It sounds like, you know, Samuel L. Jackson from Jurassic Park on the keyboard, you know, you know, and he's enhancing, and he finally gets it. He gets real close and he gets a great shot, and it's just like an alien ass out the window.
Yeah.
Just shooting moon, you know?
Yep.
Shooting moon at the United States, you know?
Yep.
You're like, God damn it, they got us.
Yep.
Gave us a hanky. Gave us some pressed ham. God damn it.
Son of a bitch. No, and what's even better about all this, I mean, better, I guess, I don't know if that's the best word, but like, dude, it's been years of, no, this is all bullshit. You know, the government's saying there's nothing to this. We don't have any. Yeah. And it's like, well, now they're saying, oh, no, it's all real.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, that's what you're hearing. You're hearing there's this big cleansing coming of like these agencies and stuff. And like,
I don't know, man. I want to know what happened at Skinwalker Ranch. I want to know that.
Yeah.
I want full disclosure on fucking Roswell, because that's my opinion, is that's when they started, like, they really got hip to the shit.
Right. Well, they even said, they confirmed that, you know, we do have a reverse engineering program. Like, they did it again. They're like, no, we're doing it. We have it. These other countries have it. And, you know, they're even our competitors. So we're seeing this arms race that like, everyone's kind of holding back of really what we have. But like, you know, the next big one that breaks out, we're going to start seeing, you'll see like Japanese have the mech suits, and like, you know, we have the biggest gun that ever existed. And like, you know,
I mean, maybe it's just beyond that. I mean, you know what I mean? Like maybe it'll just be like, I don't know, like they'll tell us it's like, oh, you know, every person in the world basically has alien technology in their hand every time they pick their phone up.
Right.
You know, that's the kind of shit that I'm waiting for. It's like, oh, you're already using it, you know?
Yeah. Anytime
fiber optics.
Yeah, I was about to say, anytime you turn on one of those Halloween or Christmas decorations, you're like, whoa, fiber optics. You're like, there it is.
That's that blew it wide open. J-Rod blessed us with fiber optics.
Yeah. And we're like, what do we do with this? He's like, you make a really cool decoration.
Yeah. It's like, oh, fuck. Yeah, sick.
It also works with audio.
Yeah. Hey, man, sure. I'll accept it.
Nice. That's one thing that these hearings have done for me. Scott, you're on board. You're on board now with the fiber optics.
I'm not. I'm just humoring you. No. Hey, if that's alien technology, fuck yeah. I love it. It means it's everywhere. It means it's already all in our stuff. But that's the thing I'm waiting for, when they're just like, you're already completely like immersed in alien technology. Right. You just don't know it.
The holographs on cards and like your toys and stuff. Yeah. Like they're like, oh, that was aliens. Like we wouldn't have had that if.
Yeah, basically,
like,
it was
dimensions in a piece of paper, like, you know.
So what they knew they were going to like show us, people around our ages, So they're like, all right, so what we're gonna do is 80s toys are gonna have a lot of fucking holograms in it. Right. So it'll just start them knowing that this shit is fucking okay.
Yeah. Right.
But literally those were actual beings trapped in those holograms. Or it's just a two-way mirror kind of thing, kind of like that fucking lens, or what is it, the portal thing that they have in Love Park right now?
Oh yeah, the portal. What do they call it though? They call it something else. Is it the portal?
Is it the portal? I don't know.
Whatever.
All I know that it was cracked the first day they dropped it in Philly.
Right.
But yeah, man. I mean, you know, there's a lot being spoken about here. I mean, I'm just kind of like scanning over this article, but it's, you know, it's huge, man. I mean, a lot of people, you know, I want to buy it. You know what I mean? I want to believe. Obviously, that's the popular thing. But then, you know, getting fucked with by these people for so long, it's like, look, man, I want to believe your stuff. I really do. But I can't trust you guys.
Yeah. We can't trust you guys.
No, nobody can trust you guys. You know, I've been, you know, it's been like 3 decades of being yelled at by Skinner, and he's like, that shit's bullshit, Mulder. Yeah. And then the Smoky Man comes in, he's like, actually, it's all real. And then, you know, they kill Deep Throat, and then the Smoky Man, and you know, then the Black Alien News guy comes after you. It's just, you know.
And then we're all just a couple of Mitch Pileggi's out here, you know?
We really are. I mean, you know, he went from Shocker to Skinner, and I can't blame him.
No, Skinner's a way cooler character.
Oh, dude, totally.
Skinner saves the day a good amount of times, you know?
He does. He's got to be a hard ass, though, because he knows he walks the line. You know, he's got to impress the superiors, but he's also like, Mulder, you're doing the Lord's work here. And he's like, what?
Yeah, exactly. Skinner is one of the cooler characters in any.
Oh, dude, I love Skinner. I mean,
one of the best supporting roles, I think.
Yeah, folks, if you're not aware, at any given time, me and Ken are watching the X-Files at some point. It's constantly being watched. Yeah. So it's just how it goes.
Yeah, like I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I just go boo 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 wow wow wow. I just do it, you know.
Yeah.
Wow wow, and then I go back to sleep, and I'm like,
yeah. I mean, you know, and Gillian Anderson, god damn.
Wow, chef
aging like a fine wine.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes, I think we've been over this.
Yes.
So yeah, man, I'm just, you know, I'm just here waiting for it. It's just like, give it to us. I mean, we're ready. People don't even care anymore. Yeah. Most people are just like, whatever.
Kids don't care. Like this current generation, they don't give a shit.
No,
like, what?
It's been turned into that meme that they all share now. which is literally called like Gleep Glorp. I was like, they stole that from us. My kids showed it to me like a couple weeks ago. Did you see Zip Gleep Glorp? I'm like, get the fuck out of here. And it's literally the guy going zip zap Gleep Glorp. I'm like, what? Did you see this shit?
No.
Oh, I'll send it to you.
So they stole it. Another thing they stole
from us. I'll show it to you. Like I couldn't believe it because my kids are like I was talking about some alien stuff. I was like, yeah, we have 2 aliens on our show, Zip Zap and Gleep Glorp. They're like, oh, you just took that from the meme. I was like, what? No. They're like, and it's like new, and it's just some alien going zip zap, beep 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 Gleep Glorp. It's terrible. Yeah, they're watching us.
Mm-hmm. They know because we're always 5 steps ahead.
Here's my one thing I would like the aliens or the government to do. Please give us full disclosure, but when you do, please take Jeremy Corbell and Tom DeLonge and just put them in the mothership and get them the fuck out of here, because I don't want to see either of them ever again. I think we can all agree on that. That's something we can all get behind.
I'm with the Corbell thing, but we need those sweet tunes from.
No, we don't. Where are you? Yeah. I'm so sorry. No, we don't need him. Nobody needs Tom DeLonge anymore.
I just like it because he pisses you off so much, and I'm not a fan, really. I'm really not. It's just fun for me.
Just every time he talks, it's just like, even he doesn't believe what he's saying. So what are we doing here?
He's like, oh man, I'm so full of shit.
He's like, I met an 8-star general, and then there was like, that doesn't exist. I met a 4-star general.
Well, you're getting closer, buddy.
Yeah, almost. This almost makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't care what he likes. Whatever.
Guys, so that was our jump scare and haunted headline. Obviously the big news going on in the UAP and USO communities. It's so awesome. Anyway, but
it's all it's all UAP now, baby.
Yeah.
If you say UFO, you're a mark.
Yeah, you're a mark ass buster for real. Bring that UFO.
A trick ass mark ass trick, whatever it is.
Yeah, all of them. You're one of all of those. You're in that category. Just know that you're in the chum bucket.
Yes.
With some
all
of the Mount
skeezers,
Rushmores,
skags, and scallywops.
Threw in there. But all right, on to jolly old England.
Back to jolly old England.
Yeah, in the Victorian era.
Yeah, so dude, Spring Heel Jack was like the original like urban legend character,
Yep.
huh?
Yep.
Fancy
Yeah.
dresser. I would even say snazzy.
I was gonna say snazzy or snappy. Those
Yep.
are two other ones that are
Not really into the slacks and boots look.
But
Slacks.
I'm not into it either. But it's sharp, you know.
For the time, like they weren't ready for it. I mean, you see these
No.
illustrations, like people are like, you know, hanging around in like their wacky, you know, petticoats and like, you know, cute little boots and whatnot. And this guy just fucking bam on top of a tombstone. He's like, you ain't ready for this shit. They're like, oh no.
No, it's Spring Heel Jack.
Yeah. First it was George, now it's Jack. Yeah.
Please don't force us to wear the oil skin. Jack.
Yeah, exactly. Which I have a pretty good opinion or idea of what I think, you know, this whole thing is.
Oh,
but,
yeah. We'll get into that.
But yeah, man, Spring Heel Jack, right? He's firmly embedded into the English folklore of the Victorian era. This is the first claim sighting all the way back in 1837. I mean, how do you like the pedigree on that, huh?
Right.
All the later sightings were reported all over the United Kingdom and were especially prevalent in suburban London, the Midlands, and even Scotland. So, like I said earlier, there's many theories about the nature and identity of Spring Heel Jack. Very popular in its time because the tales were just so like bizarre. Like people just couldn't get their heads around it, right? And the leaping is the one thing that people just can't. That's the last thing. People just like, what the fuck were they seeing? This guy leaping.
How is he doing this?
I know. I mean, he had springs in his heels. It says it right in his name.
He had to, or some elaborate pulley system, which is a theory of mine.
Maybe there's just like a whole thing set up. They're like, here, idiot Londoners, watch this, and they have like a whole thing set up, and he's like, bah! They pull him up by the pulleys and they throw sparks, and yeah, that's kind of cool, actually.
It's like a precursor to Cirque du Soleil.
Right. So the French were involved, is what you're saying.
The French are always involved, Jason.
Yeah,
the French are always involved, Jay. It's conspiracy by the globalists. Here are the Londoners.
Oof. Yeah, man, and even to the point where, like, you know, works of fiction of the day, the Penny Dreadfuls, many were written about our buddy Spring Heel Jack.
Yeah. Dumb fucking show, though. Dumb fucking TV show, though.
Oh, Josh Hartnett, suck it. Spring Heel Jack was described by people who claimed to have seen him as having a terrifying and frightful appearance with diabolical physiognomy, which just means his body had all these weird components.
Yeah.
The clawed hands. I love the clawed hands. Like that's a great, like you hide it under your cape and then it just comes out. Like the character design on this guy. Yeah. The character design on this guy was next level.
I want an action figure of the one of him on the tombstone. Like
they make it.
I gotta get it.
Yeah, they make it. I actually saw it before. I was like, oh, some of this stuff is.
I remember the first time fucking hearing like a podcast about this.
Yes.
And I was like, what the fuck? What? Like,
yes.
I like to say this for lunatic stories. This is a lunatic story.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, all good. And what the hell was I about to say? Oh, his eyes. Can't forget the eyes. Red balls of fire. I mean, you know, one report even claimed that beneath a black cloak, he wore a helmet and a tight-fitting white garment like an oil skin, which, you know, we know what that's for. Many stories also mention a devil-like aspect. Others said that he was tall and thin with the appearance of a gentleman. Several reports mention that he could breathe out blue and white flames and that he wore sharp metallic claws on his fingertips. At least two people claimed that he was able to speak comprehensible English. Well, yeah.
No shit, gang.
Yep. So this is, you know, just to put a little bit in you know perspective here. This is kind of a tradition in London to have these entities stalking the streets. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. There are a lot of ghost stories that have been around forever that just stalk these, you know, the streets of London, and you know have been allegedly been you know witnessed for years, describing these pale and, you know, human-like figures that stalked and preyed on these lone pedestrians. This is a thing going back for centuries. Right. And the one of the funniest things is that always like the people that witness it, like in drawing or depictions, are always just them going, ah! That's my favorite part. Yeah. Of all these like classic stories. Yeah. They just the arms flailing like, oh, fuck. Yeah. I have fallen. Yeah.
Always one in the party falls, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it just completely, someone faints as well.
Yeah.
Someone's periwig falls off. It's a whole thing.
Pick up Samuel. No, we must run. Leave him.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So anyway, you have these sightings that kind of form this basis of this like foundation of like this that would kind of form this legend of Spring Heel Jack, because people were just aware of this. They were like, and you have these sightings of things, and it kind of like, some people have suggested that, well, it got into people's minds, and someone was like, you know what, I want to make my own creature that runs around the streets. Yeah. And even on a more darker note, this may have informed the later, and not too much later, about 20, 30 years down the road, I believe, of Jack the Ripper. Same kind of thing.
Took it a little further than Spring Heel Jack.
Yeah, I mean,
did.
He was a little. Look, blowing flames into women's faces, that's some fucked up shit. Ripping at their dresses and shit. That's why. And kissing them without consent, wild. But ripping them up, that's another level.
It's bad, but it's not as, it's not as bad as...
No. It's not as bad as that. But do you think that Jack the Ripper actually jumped away after his crimes, but it was so dark nobody saw it?
And he went, ha-ha! As he did it, like,
clicked his heels together and just fucked off.
Yeah, after he like cut out a piece of organ, was just like, as he fucking floated up into the fucking...
just blows flames as he...
Yeah. It's fucking nuts.
With his fucking twinkle toes going over the gate.
Yeah. And you see him, he's all happy and dancy.
Yeah. Yep. Fuck, he got us again.
Yeah.
So the first alleged sightings of Spring Heel Jack were made in London in 1837, and the last reported sighting is said to have, in most of the secondary literature, they're not sure if they're connected, to have been in Liverpool in 1904. Dude, that's a long time.
I mean, that either goes to say that this is a group of people, it's a family tradition, or people are full of shit.
Both. Yeah. it's all of it.
Yeah.
So according to much later accounts, in October of 1837, a girl by the name of Mary Stevens was walking to Lavender Hill, where she was working as a servant after visiting her parents in Battersea. On her way through Clapham Common, a strange figure leapt at her from a dark alley. After immobilizing her with a tight grip of his arms, he began to kiss her face while ripping her clothes and touching her flesh with his claws, which were, according to her deposition, quote, cold and clammy as those of a corpse.
Oh.
In panic, the girl screamed, making the attacker quickly flee from the scene. The commotion brought several residents who immediately launched a search for the aggressor, but he could not be found. That's a hell of a debut.
It is, yeah. That's his first one. He was just getting comfy,
Yeah.
He's testing out his spring heels to see how fast he can get away.
Right. Like, I feel like his fireball apparatus fucked up, so he's like, I might as well just kiss this bitch, and then just started kissing. he's like, fuck.
Yeah.
It didn't work. Like, he was trying to light the thing.
Yeah.
He's like, God damn it. So the next day,
Frederick will hear of this.
Yeah, damn right he will. The next day, the leaping character is said to have chosen a very different victim near Mary Stevens' home, inaugurating a method that would reappear in later reports. He jumped in the way of a passing carriage, causing the coachman to lose control, crash, and severely injure himself.
What an asshole.
Yeah, I know. This guy's just
guy's like,
he's a menace. He's a fucking menace. Several damn you, Jack. Several witnesses claimed that he escaped by jumping over a 9-foot-high wall while cackling with a high-pitched, ringing laughter. Dude, this guy is adorable.
Yeah, it's a good time, man.
Dude, he's a fucking cereal mascot. Yeah. Like, what the fuck?
Besides them forcing himself on the women.
Yeah.
That's gotta be a fun time to be around.
Yeah. I mean, dude, whatever he's got going for him to jump over a 9-foot fucking wall while cackling with look at his little toes in the picture.
Yeah.
In fact, I had to use this for the episode art. You'll see. Look at how much fun he's having. And the guy's like shaking his fist. God damn you,
Jack.
Yep.
Not again.
Yeah.
He goes, hee as he goes. That's what he's doing in that picture. With
Very high pitched makes it even more hysterical. It was like a it's like, all right, that's more menacing, but this is like, got you again.
Yeah. He's having such a silly time,
Yeah, and then he goes home to wherever he lives and just laughs himself to sleep.
Yeah, he was like, did you see the look on their faces when I jumped that 9-foot wall?
Yeah, wild.
Fucking losers.
Fucking jagoffs couldn't get me. So gradually,
it's so funny, it fucking hurts my head. Just like,
dude, it's so fun. Even if it was just this isolated incident, they'd still be talking about it. Like, hey, remember that devil guy who fucking just leaped over the 9-foot wall and was like, just cackling?
Remember the guy that jumped in front of the fucking carriage?
Yeah.
Spilled everything and then was just like, gotcha, bitch. You know, out of there.
And what's funny is they say that there could have been more of these that happened, but back in the day, in this time period, most commoners did not trust the police at all. So they wouldn't even report crimes. They would just be like, street justice. So there's a chance that there was more of this shit going on. Like maybe he went out at night and, pulled like 6 of these.
Yeah. And then most of the time, like the first person to see it was like, what was that? Like, it's just Jack, come on inside. Just close the door.
Yeah, exactly. Let it be what it'll be.
Yeah, it's time to go.
Yeah, I've got work in the morning. Yeah. Gradually, the news of the strange character spread, and soon the press and public gave him the name Spring-Heeled Jack. Wendigo Riff.
Wendigo Riff.
Hell yeah! This whole episode is a Wendigo Riff. This guy was having a fucking humdiddly-do of a good time.
Yeah.
Yep.
This guy's the definition of antics. Like,
oh hell yeah! I actually think they made it up, just that word, just for this guy.
Yeah.
So going on, I mean, a lot. There was, apparently there were a ton of people like reporting this. I mean, and they just, they're just talking about like the major, incidences. But on January 9th of 1838, the Lord Mayor of London himself, Sir John Cowan, revealed at a public session held in the Mansion House an anonymous complaint that he had received several days earlier, which he had withheld in the hope of obtaining further information. The correspondent who signed the letter, a resident of Peckham, wrote, "It appears that some individuals of, as the writer believes, the highest ranks of life, have laid a wager with a mischievous and foolhardy companion that he does not take upon himself the task of visiting many of the villagers near London in 3 different disguises: a ghost, a bear, and a devil." Is this like a skinwalker? What the fuck? I don't even know, man. And moreover, that he will not enter a gentleman's gardens for the purpose of alarming the inmates of the house. The wager has, however, been accepted, and the unmanly villain has succeeded in depriving 7 ladies of their senses, 2 of whom are not likely to recover, but to become burdens to their families. So he just completely just blew their minds.
The funniest thing is using the word unmanly there. So that could mean like he's, like a beast. He's not like a man. He's unmanly. Right. I like to think of it as they're saying like, dude, jumping is for chicks. Like, men don't jump. Like, this unmanly leaper.
He didn't even present his card. He just fucking leaps off and cackles.
And they all go, what a bitch. That's not a man at all. That guy leaps too good to be manly.
Yeah, seriously, with the boots and the pointed toes, it's a bit much.
Yeah, back in those days, you were more manly, like the slower and like just do the least. You're the most manly.
Right. Do less.
Yeah, do less.
At one house, the man rang the bell, and on the servant coming to open the door, this worse than brute stood in no less dreadful figure than a specter clad most perfectly. The consequence was that the poor girl immediately swooned and has never from that moment been in her senses.
Oh, because she saw him and she's like, yo, Victorian era fuckhound.
Yeah.
Like dressed like to the fucking T. Like,
yeah, like sparkles everywhere.
It was like how Freddie Mercury used to do, back in the day. She was like, oh, it just went down.
Yes.
It was like, whew.
You know what I think? I think David Bowie went back in time and did all these fucking crimes.
I'll give you, David Bowie's better. David Bowie's better.
No, it's fine. They both did Under Pressure together, so I could see why, it works. Maybe they took turns.
It might have been them time traveling.
I actually like that. That'd be a wild movie.
And Mick Jagger shows up too, and he's like, hey, he's getting out,
And they're like, no, not you.
Yeah.
Just us.
David Bowie's like, I'll be back to fuck you later. Just
exactly.
Yeah.
The affair has now been going on for some time, and strange to say, the papers are still silent on the subject. The writer has reason to believe that they have the whole history at their finger ends, but through interested motives are induced to remain silent. So, I mean, that's some, That's some contemporary wordsmithing there. But you know, people were they already knew some shit was going on, so they needed this you know, the Lord Mayor of London himself to be involved, and looks like that's what he did. Though the Lord Mayor was very skeptical. He's, you know,
here's the reports.
The reports. He had audiences that confirmed that servant girls about Kensington, not by us, Hammersmith and Ealing, tell dreadful stories of this ghost or devil, and that they reported it even in the London Times on the 9th of January, and even made it to international papers. So this is, you know, this was really making the rounds of these, quote, wicked pranks.
Yeah,
I love it.
Sure sounds like a prank to me.
And that these young women were being frightened into, quote, dangerous fits, and some, quote, severely wounded by a sort of claws the miscreant wore on his hands. So I like already that they're like, okay, he's got a suit. Like, this is his, like, outfit. You know, he's going out there with, like, this is, like, opposite of Batman or some shit. He's, like, dressed perfectly. It's never disheveled, and he's out. He leaps. He's like, nope, not to stain on this shit. Killed him. Yep. And even though the Lord Mayor was very skeptical, he even said that, you know, it seems to be impossible, but that, quote, the ghost performs the feats of a devil upon earth. It's so good. And even the Times wrote in April of that year that Spring Heel Jack has, it seems, found his way to the Sussex coast. Even though the report bore little resemblance to the other accounts of Jack, they were loving this because this was, you know, this was selling papers. And this is another account where he showed up in the, quote, shape of a bear or some other 4-footed animal. Yeah, I don't. That's weird to me. Like, where is that coming from? You know, like, where's the story of him showing up as a bear and frightening people? Not just like going, oh, he showed up here as a bear. You know, like the other one's like, oh, here's what he did when he was, you know, the cool one, vampire style. Yeah, you know, Spring Heel Jack. Like, there's a whole anecdote. This one's just like, oh, he showed up as like a fucking bear. This is like some Dracula shit, honestly. Like, it is. He has his human form, but then he can also be a bear. And what was the other thing? A ghost. A ghost. Wasn't there something else though? Some fucking fuckhound? He showed up. He has showed up like at one point they said like he looked like a more beast than man. There it is. Yeah, a ghost, a bear, and a devil. So yeah. The bear is throwing me off though, because like, what if it's just like, it's not like this fucking grizzly bear. It's just like this like non-assuming, just like, you know. Right. Well, let's break this down. So the devil, let's say the devil version is the one leaping over the wall, correct? Right. The one, yes. That one. Mm-hmm. The ghost. Are we considering that? Son of a bitch. Are we considering that the top one where he's, you know, on the grave? Is that the ghost one that breathes the fire? No. Even though he still has horns, or is that still devil? No, that's still devil because his boots are prominently shown, like the heels. It's just they have to put it on there, so that's all the devil form. So the ghost form, what is that? Is it like a sheep? I think he can like. That's just him. He's using that to like. That's how he's able to get away so quick. You know what I mean? Like maybe he goes ghost and then he just disappears. Like he jumps but then disappears. He goes bat and then it's just exactly. He's Laszlo. Yeah. I'm surprised I haven't used that in the show.
This seems like This seems like his shit. This is
Laszlo all over it. Yeah. That fuck. Excuse me, Jackie Daytona.
Jackie Daytona. I was about to say Jackie Daytona.
Yeah, but the bear thing, that's like, what did he do that for? Is that how he like made his way into people's like houses and just like stole their food? Like what the fuck? Like the bear one is throwing me off. Like what do bears do? Like there's just a ghostly bear just tottering through the fucking streets. It's so weird. It could be though that it's just like there was a bear there one time and there must have been Spring Hill Jack. You know what I mean? Like yeah, it could have just been a couple random bear sightings that they the claws. Okay, the claws, but they said his claws were more metal. Yeah, but that's just his bear aspect. This is a complicated dude, man. I can't. This is a lunatic fucking tale. That's what this is. This is a comic story before comics were a fucking thing. Like this is, I love it. So let's get on to some of the more famous accounts. Please. So perhaps the best known of the alleged incidents involving Spring Hill Jack were the attacks on two teenage girls, Lucy Scales and Jane Alsop. The Alsop report was widely covered by the newspapers, including a piece in the Times, while few reports appeared in relation to the attack on Scales. The press coverage of these two attacks helped to raise the profile of Spring Heel Jack. He was the man. Like they were just like, what's he going to do next? I mean, he's amazing. They're like, what's next for this guy?
Like, we hope he just doesn't murder a bunch of women.
Yeah, no, they're like, no, that'll be in the 1880s. Like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
50 years, great.
So we can still like this guy.
Yeah, this guy's fine. So the Alsop case, Jane Alsop reported that on the night of February 19th of 1838, she answered the door of her father's house to a man claiming to be a police officer, who told her to bring a light, claiming, quote, "We have caught Spring-Heeled Jack here in the lane." She brought the person a candle and noticed that he wore a large cloak. The moment she had handed him the candle, however, he threw off the cloak and presented a most hideous and frightful appearance, vomiting blue and white flame from his mouth while his eyes resembled, quote, red balls of fire. Miss Alsop reported that he wore a large helmet and that his clothing, which appeared to be very tight-fitting, resembled white oilskin. Without saying a word, he caught hold of her and began tearing her gown with his claws, which she was certain were, quote, of some metallic substance. She screamed for help and managed to get away from him and ran towards the house. He caught her on the steps and tore her neck and arms with his claws. She was rescued by one of her sisters, after which her assailant fled.
So this one, he shows up in fucking cop uniform.
Yeah. Well,
Like
she thought it was a cop because of his
Right.
cloak, because
Okay,
I believe
yeah.
the policemen of the time wore those cloaks.
Right. So, okay, she's just assuming, because I thought it said he was dressed as a cop. So he's not a Bobby. He's just he's just wearing his outfit.
No,
and she's
just
like,
a man claiming to be a police officer.
right. So she saw like his helmet with the
Yes.
horns and was like, oh, great.
Yeah.
Let's
But then
it's
it's a big cloak, and then all of a sudden he does this, aha!
Yeah.
He throws this fucking cloak off, and what's he wearing? Or is he just nude?
Oh no, he's not nude. This is classic.
No, I know. He's got the
rib,
oilskins.
He's got the ribbed like chest thing,
Maybe,
like him fucking with the. That's weird. I don't know what helmet. He's wearing a helmet.
So yeah, I was thinking about that because I was like, what helmet? So someone from this period of time, what would they think a helmet was? Like, so obviously it's not a fucking sports helmet. This is some kind of military helmet, right? Some kind of.
Be.
I think well, we'll save it to the end, but I like the whole getup because obviously the oilskins have a purpose because this guy's fucking with fire, right?
Right, too. And also, his eyes probably seem red because he's wearing protective goggles that are reflecting whatever fire he's projecting. And
exactly. Like some Mr. Freeze goggles.
Right, absolutely. Yes, but they're black. They're like black and mirrored, like a welder style.
Yeah. Fuck, this guy was probably awesome looking.
Yeah, he probably looked so cool.
Yeah.
That's all I keep thinking.
I'm going to be Spring-Heeled Jack for Halloween next year. I don't know how to pull off the leaping, though. I could do the blue flames, no problem.
White flames as well.
Blue and white, and then I could definitely just claw at people. I could do that.
Well, we'll have to get in touch.
I can do the
with
cackle too.
Yeah, we can get in touch with our contacts at Cirque du Soleil.
Right.
We know people there. So.
We do.
Or at the paranormal circus that they have.
Yes. So moving on to the Scales case, on just a few days later, actually, the 28th. The last one was the 19th of February. This is the 28th. 9 days after the attack on Miss Alsop, 18-year-old Lucy Scales and her sister were returning home after visiting their brother, a butcher who lived in a respectable part of Limehouse. Miss Scales stated in her deposition to the police that as she and her sister were passing along Green Dragon Alley, I want to go there, they observed a person standing in an angle of the passage. She was walking in front of her sister at the time, and just as she came upon the person, who was wearing a large cloak, he spurted a quantity of blue flame in her face, which deprived her of her sight and so alarmed her that she instantly dropped to the ground and was seized with violent fits, which continued for several hours.
Now, do you think the violent fits were like seizures, or was she just like, this motherfucker, fire in my fucking, she's just like really punching at nothing?
I mean, it could be a combination of the two, right?
Yeah.
Because, if you're just walking through Green Dragon Alley and a literal dragon basically just comes out of the alley and just, lights it up, I would be pissed, but also, flabbergasted. Yeah. And possibly even gobsmacked.
Yeah, might seize up.
Yeah. Huh. Do you think he had like cool lines he may have said too that they forgot? Like,
absolutely. He worked it in. He was like Schwarzenegger.
I don't know why, but I'm thinking like before he would blow the flames, he would pull like a whole like Gordon Ramsay, like, you fucking donkey, and then
yeah, you think he's Gordon Ramsay in it?
I think so.
I was
thinking, fucking donut.
Yeah, you fucking donut. It's fucking roll, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And then that's why he uses the fire.
You're a pig. You pig.
Right before he fucks her up, he's just like, "You're an idiot sandwich," and then just hits her with the flames.
Yeah.
This guy was fucking out of his mind.
Yeah.
So her brother added that on the evening in question, he had heard the loud screams of one of his sister's moments after they had left his house, and on running up Green Dragon Alley, he found his sister Lucy on the ground in a fit, with his sister attempting to hold and support her. She was taken home, and he then learned from his other sister what had happened. She described Lucy's assailant as being of tall, thin, and gentlemanly appearance, covered in a large cloak and carrying a small lamp or bullseye lantern similar to those used by the police.
That's how he blew the flames.
Yes. Get some. The individual did not speak, nor did he try to lay hands on them, but instead walked quickly away. So walking, no leaping. Every effort was made by the police to discover the author of these and similar outrages, and several persons were questioned but were set free. So got away with this one too.
And this might be his MO too, like to change up how he does it.
Maybe.
You know?
Yep.
This time I'll go as a bear. Next time I'll go as, the devil cop.
Yeah.
Time goes, I'll just walk away.
He's the man, different outfit for every occasion. Maybe this is not appropriate for leaping. This is appropriate for just blowing fireballs.
That time when he walked away, did he go, meeting adjourned?
Fuck yeah, he did. Drac vibes from fucking Monster Squad.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, if he was able to whip sticks of dynamite, this would have been a different story. I don't think London would have survived that.
Yeah, no. If he got his hand on a good batch of a TNT.
Yeah.
This is a whole different London that we're facing now.
Yep. He'd be king.
Yeah. This wiki would be a whole different thing about
a whole different thing. The destruction of London in 1838.
Yeah. By a guy who jumped and giggled.
Yeah. The giggling jumper. Yeah.
But then they call him the giggling king.
Yeah. The king who giggled.
Yeah, the king who giggled and jumped.
So the Times reported the alleged attack on Jane Alsop on March 2nd, 1838, under the heading, "The Late Outrage at Old Ford." This was followed with an account of the trial of one of Thomas Milbank's, who immediately after the report attack on Jane Alsop had boasted in the Morgan's Arms that he was Spring Heel Jack. He was arrested and tried at Lambeth Street Court. The arresting officer was James Lee, who had earlier arrested William Corder, the Red Barn murderer. I don't know what that is, but he's a good cop, apparently. So Milbank had been wearing white overalls and a greatcoat, which he dropped outside the house, and the candle he dropped was also found. He escaped conviction only because Jane Alsop insisted her attacker had breathed fire, and Milbank admitted he could do no such thing. I can't do that.
Yeah, he's like, try it. Oh.
And they were like, "All right, bugger off."
Yeah, bugger off.
That was it. That was the.
Take
they were good back then.
Candle and get out.
Yep.
But I'll tell you what, Milbank seems like kind of like a starfucker kind of guy.
You think?
Yeah, he might have been. This guy's like a, oh, look at me, I'm doing it. No, it's me. I'm Spring Heel Jack. Like,
right.
And it's like, no, dude, no, you're not. Breathe fire. And he's like,
it's like, I'm not myself. I can't do it right now.
Yeah.
He's just trying to get free drinks.
Right, exactly. And this here is them putting it in a way of where it was like, what do you call it? Where it's like a court drama, that kind of shit. When in reality, it's just like this happened, outside of the court or whatever. And they're like, all right, this is the guy who dropped his shit. And she's like, all right. She's like, I don't know. He's not breathing fire. And they're like, dude, hurry up and breathe fire. We can get out, And he was like, not do that. And they were like, all right, yeah, bugger off. Take your candle off with you.
Yes.
And then he was like, well, damn it. He wanted to be locked in history. But it's not him.
It is not him, though.
Guy's a bitch.
Yeah, probably. After these incidents, Spring Heel Jack became one of the most popular characters of the period. His alleged exploits were reported in the newspapers and became the subject of several penny dreadfuls, like we mentioned, and plays even performed in the cheap theaters that abounded at the time. The devil was even renamed Spring Heel Jack in some Punch and Judy shows. That's funny. As recounted by Henry Mayhew in his London Labor and the London Poor. He said, "There he is, Satan. We might say the devil, but that ain't right. And general folks don't like such words. He is now commonly called Spring-Heeled Jack or the Rosian Bear. That's since the war. So I don't know what the bear thing is. I must be missing something. If we have any British listeners, let us know what this fucking shit means.
Hit us up. Or this guy, Milbank, this could have been his Kaiser Sose moment. Like, shit, they got me, and he admits it. But he goes in his head, when they ask me to breathe fire, I can't do it. And then he just walked away, you know, and as he got around the corner, big thing of fire.
Just and leaped over a wall.
Yep. This could have been that.
Yep.
And he's like, they're not going to look at me ever again because they know I can't breathe fire.
Right. He's like, because I wasn't breathing fire. I was expelling fire from myself.
I can't tell a lie.
Right. And then off he goes with his little pointed toes. Yeah. And it's his fabulous, like, I'm imagining patent leather boots. Very shiny.
There's no other way, man.
But even as his fame was growing, reports of Spring-Heeled Jack's appearances became less frequent, if more widespread. In 1843, however, a wave of sightings swept the country again. A report from Northamptonshire described him as, quote, the very image of the devil himself with horns and eyes of flame. And in East Anglia, reports of attacks on drivers of mail coaches became common. In July 1847, a Spring-Heeled Jack investigation in Teaganmouth, I think that's it, Teaganmouth?
Sure.
I tried. Devon led to a Captain Finch being convicted of 2 charges of assault against women, during which he is said to have been, quote, disguised in a skin coat, which had the appearance of bullock's hide, skull cap, horns, and mask. Because this guy was getting fucking nuts out there.
Smith.
Yeah. They're like, you son of a bitch. Take the day off and then come back and tell us you learned from your experience.
Right.
Yep.
Without pay. Without
pay for the day.
Yeah.
What I did was wrong. I shouldn't have done it. I'll never do it again. They're like, okay, all right, come back to work.
Although it was a laugh, I did have a laugh while doing it. Never do it again.
Yeah. The legend was linked with the phenomenon of the Devil's Footprints, which appeared in Devon in February 1855. This is another legend, same kind of thing. They found...
That one right to the town? The one that went right to the... Yes. Yeah.
Yes. It's, a fun little British romp.
Jaunty. It's jaunty.
It is. So the last reports of our pal, in the beginning of the 1870s, Spring-Heeled Jack was reported again in several places distant from each other. In November of 1872, the News of the World reported that Peckham was in, quote, a state of commotion owing to what is known as the Peckham Ghost, a mysterious figure quite alarming in appearance. The editorial pointed out that it was none other than Spring-Heeled Jack who terrified a past generation. Similar stories were published in the Illustrated Police News, and in April and May of 1873, it reported there were numerous sightings in Sheffield of the, quote, park ghost, which locals also came to identify as Spring-Heeled Jack.
News of the world. They call themselves News of the World.
Well, they're just having a good time.
Yeah, but it's just like, think about that like that delusion of grandeur. Like that's like probably one of the first instances of someone doing like, we'll just call ourselves this and we'll give you fucking New Hampshire's fucking news. Yeah. Bullocksworth and downtown Sharshan fire. I don't fucking know.
Totally. So this news was followed by more reported sightings until in August of 1877, one of the most notable reports about Spring-Heeled Jack came from a group of soldiers in Aldershot Garrison. The story went as follows. A sentry on duty at the North Camp peered into the darkness, his attention attracted by a peculiar figure, quote, advancing towards him. The soldier issued a challenge, which went unheeded, and the figure came up beside him and delivered several slaps to his face. A guard shot at him with no visible effect. Some sources claim that the soldier may have fired blanks at him, others that he missed or fired warning shots. The strange figure then disappeared into the surrounding darkness, quote, with astonishing bounds. So he just leaped away.
Yeah.
Like a cricket.
They didn't mention the giggles, though.
Okay, so when he slapped him on the face, he was giggling the whole fucking time.
He had to have been. He's
like, try and hit me, sissy.
Yeah.
And
your guns have no effect on a man of my stature.
This fucking guy, man.
Yeah.
Lord Ernest Hamilton's 1922 memoir 40 years on, mentions that Aldershot appearances of Spring Heel Jack, however, he apparently erroneously says that they occurred in the winter of 1879 after his regiment, the 60th Rifles, had moved to Aldershot, and that similar appearances had occurred when the regiment was barracked at Colchester in the winter of 1878. He's old. It's 1922.
Yeah.
He adds that this panic became so great at Aldershot that sentries were issued ammunition and ordered to shoot, quote, the night terror on sight.
The night terror. We like that.
Dude, how exciting this must have been. It's like we have orders to shoot a monster if we see it.
Yeah.
Who giggles and slaps.
What is this? The Beast of Gévaudan or whatever the fuck?
The Beast of Gévaudan. But following this, the appearances ceased. So Hamilton thought that the appearances were actually pranks carried out by one of his fellow officers. However, nobody knows.
Well, word got around. He's like, "Ah, fuck! They're just gonna be shooting at me now."
Shot. I mean, we're having a fucking good time. I don't want to get shot.
He's like, "All right, I'm done.
Yes.
It was a good 100 years or whatever."
In the autumn of 1877, Spring Heel Jack was reportedly seen at Newport Arch in Lincolnshire, wearing a sheepskin. An angry mob supposedly chased him and quartered him, and just as in Aldershot a while before, residents fired at him with no effect. As usual, he was said to have made use of his leaping abilities to lose the crowd and disappear once again, and they didn't mention the giggles again.
Yeah, well, he would never be caught dead in sheepskin. Let's get that straight. That wasn't Spring Heel Jack.
You know, it was, but they were like, fuck, he got away. What are we going to say? Well, let's say he was wearing some shabby bullshit. At least we can, tarnish his character. Like, yeah.
And then he reads it, he's like, sheepskin?
He's like, I had the finest leather coat with golden clasps.
Yeah. My cape was fluffed perfectly as I combed it the night before. 2 hours I combed this cape, and they say sheepskin.
It billowed gloriously as I leapt through the air.
I made sure to reach back and touch it as it flowed.
Dude, this guy was awesome.
Oh, yeah, this guy kicks ass. I mean, apart from the women assault thing.
I mean, yeah. I mean, maybe it's not true. We'll have to look at the depositions.
Yeah, right. Maybe some people are lying on him. Hey, look, I don't
maybe
know. R. Kelly, I don't know.
I don't know either. By the end of the 19th century, the reported sightings of Spring Heel Jack were moving towards the northwest of England. Around 1888 in Everton, North Liverpool, he allegedly appeared on the rooftop of St. Francis Xavier's Church on Salisbury Street.
I was just spawning it up there.
He's just up there laughing while the lightning is going behind him. He's just like,
and just switching his cape back and forth.
just doing like a runway walk up there, showing off his boots.
Sheepskin.
He's like, I'll get those fucks.
Yeah.
He probably lit their houses on fire.
Right. Yeah.
He flew over their houses like a dragon, just blowing fire, just lighting all their shacks on fire.
Yeah, and then did the fashion show on the church.
Yes.
All that
just
for
sashaying down the roof.
Yeah.
In 1904, there were reports of appearances in nearby William Henry Street. So this man was going. I mean, this is probably just the devil himself. I mean, what are you going to do? This is like this vast urban legend that got built, and Spring Heel Jack influenced many aspects, of Victorian life, especially in contemporary popular culture. I think we've mentioned before, for decades, especially in London, his name was equated with the boogeyman. The bogeyman,
I was going to say.
As a means of scaring children into behaving by telling them that they're not good, Spring Heel Jack would leap up and peer in at them through the window, in their bedroom windows before night. So you got to do this to your kid.
Yeah.
Tell him Spring Heel Jack is going to come here and put on the wildest fashion show you've ever seen.
Kenny, look, I know I wear like flannels and stuff.
Yeah.
Spring Heel Jack's going to show off, the most gorgeous cape, and he's just going to cackle at you through the window.
Yeah.
You like that? You want that? Is that what you want? All right, eat your fucking broccoli, dude.
Right. Exactly. And I don't know why, but I envision him doing these strutting walks, and I just hear what is that? RuPaul's Cover Girl song? Mm-hmm. That's what's playing.
Cover Girl. Yeah. No. Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
You can drop that here if you want.
You better work, cover girl, work it, girl. Give us world, do your thing on the runway.
That's his theme song.
I didn't want to, but it was necessary.
Didn't want to, but it called for it, and
Yeah. And
Spring Heel
I abide.
Jack.
I abide.
Yeah. However, it was in fictional entertainment where the legend of Spring Heel Jack exerted the most extensive influence, owing to his allegedly extraordinary nature. 3 pamphlet publications, purportedly based on the real events, appeared almost immediately during January and February 1838. They were not advertised as fiction, though they likely were at least partly so. The only known copies were reported to have perished when the British Library was hit during the Blitz, but their catalog still lists the first one. I think he probably showed up and burned them.
Yeah, the Blitz was him.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah.
I know my guy's work.
Yeah, hey. The character was written into a number of Penny Dreadful stories during the latter half of the 19th century, initially as a villain and then in increasingly heroic tales. By the early 1900s, he was being represented as a costumed, altruistic avenger of wrongs and protector of the innocent, effectively becoming a precursor to Pulp Fiction and then comic book superheroes. Yeah, apparently this was an influence on Batman.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Which
The
pretty
ears,
interesting.
You know?
Batman needs to start blowing fireballs, or the Batmobile does.
Right, it does. But
And it does have blue flame in some of the movies.
Yeah, and originally he did have guns. The original iteration.
Yeah, but Spring Heel
Before he had
Jack
the
didn't use
ears.
guns.
Yeah, it's true. But blowing fire, kind of blowing fire.
Yeah.
Kind of a little bit.
I don't know, man. It's all in there.
But that at that point, Batman didn't have the ears, so.
He did have ears.
Oh, Jesus.
He had the ears from the beginning.
Well, I thought he had a bandana when he had the guns.
No, you're thinking of the original Bob Kane design that was shit. That was just a domino mask. And then Bill Finger came in and just fucking...
Right, that's what I'm saying. Wasn't that before?
It was never published.
Okay.
The first Batman, he has purple gloves the first time they show
Right,
him. He
okay.
has ears.
Well, then that's okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. I did that.
Either way, a fashion icon, just like Spring Heel Jack. So, theories. So no one was ever caught, obviously, and identified as the Spring Heel Jack. Combined with the extraordinary abilities attributed to him and the very long period during which he was reported at large, this has led to numerous and varied theories of his nature and identity. With several researchers seek a normal explanation for the events, other authors explore the more fantastical details of the story to propose different kinds of paranormal speculation.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even need to hear other people's theories. I have my own. I'm interested to hear yours.
I know, but there's this one guy that I want to cover that this Marquis. Did you come across this guy?
Oh, I've heard.
He's this Irish Marquis, but here's it clearly wasn't him. He was just a wild man. But his name, I don't know if you saw his name, Henry
Bruce Wayne.
Delaporte.
I'm sorry.
What's that?
I said Bruce Wayne.
Right, exactly. Henry Delaporte. Remember that name? That was the family from Rats on the Walls.
Oh, okay.
So our boy HPL came in here and was like, oh, a freakish guy that might be a monster. I'll take that name.
I was talking about Howard today, and I was talking about Algernon Blackwood.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about Christmas. I was talking about, what is it? The kit bag, a couple other things.
Yeah.
Sorry. I've been talking about HP, but I'm sorry that name escaped me. We've been out of the game too long. I'm sorry.
I know. We've got weird things going on in our lives right now.
Yeah, really weird stuff.
Something weird is growing inside of Ken's wife.
It's really weird. I don't know. I felt something that felt like a sneeze, only better.
Yeah, but this was the guy that they put up there, and like the guy, they kind of just he was a nutty, just he was an aristocrat that got into some weird shit. He liked to fight. He liked to play pranks on people, but he had one leg. So they're like, well, he couldn't have done it because he couldn't have leapt with just one leg. So, which he did when he was they were like fucking around with explosives one day, him and his pals, and he blew his leg off. This guy's nuts.
He could have been the financier and like watching from afar, got one of his buddies, they took the technology to make him walk again normally. And they were like, it just won't work with one leg. And he's like, Philip, try these on. And he was just,
Well, I think we should run through the paranormal conjectures because I like some of these.
Yeah.
And then we'll have our conclusions of
our
what
day
really
in court.
happened.
We'll have our day in court.
Yes, right after. So a variety of wildly speculative paranormal explanations have been proposed to explain the origin of Spring Heel Jack, including that he was an extraterrestrial entity with a non-human appearance and features, His reflective red eyes, his phosphorus breath.
Doing
And,
stuff like the Flatwoods Monster, you know?
Kinda, a little bit of Mothman, little bit of Flatwoods Monster.
Yeah.
And a superhuman agility deriving from life on a high gravity world. That's why he could jump.
Holds up.
Yeah.
Holds up to me, buddy.
Yep. And that also explains, like I said, the jumping ability and his strange behavior.
Yeah, tearing at women.
Or that he was a demon, accidentally or purposefully summoned into this world by practitioners of the occult, or who made himself manifest simply to create spiritual turmoil.
If you ask Zach Beggins, we know that's his response.
Everything's a demon.
Yeah.
Everything.
That's what happens when your grandmom dies.
Yeah. So we've got some Fortean authors, Lauren Coleman, the legendary Lauren Coleman, and Jerome Clark list Spring Heel Jack in a category named Phantom Attackers, with another well-known example being the Mad Gasser of Mattoon. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
That story is fucking crazy. It's from the 40s and Iowa
I know.
or some shit.
I'm very familiar.
We'll get to that. Typical phantom attackers appear to be human and may be perceived as prosaic criminals, but may display extraordinary abilities, as in Spring Heel Jack's jumps, which it is widely noted, would break the ankles of a human who replicated them. You just can't do that, buddy.
No,
you can't just
can't.
jump 9 fucking feet and then just, giggle.
No, you have to be an NBA player, and they surely don't giggle.
No. And him not being able to be caught by the authorities. Victims commonly experience the attack in their bedrooms, homes, or other seemingly secure enclosures. That's true with this. They feel that they're safe, and this guy just shows up. They report being pinned or paralyzed, or on the other hand, describe a, quote, siege in which they fought off a persistent intruder or intruders. Many reports can readily be explained psychologically, most notably as the, quote, old hag phenomenon, recorded in folklore and recognized by psychologists as a form of hallucination. In the most problematic cases, an attack is witnessed by several people and substantiated by some physical evidence, but the attacker cannot be verified to exist.
Yeah, I mean, the old hag, are we talking about at this point, like sitting on your chest, like sleep paralysis?
Yes, it's 100% what it is.
Okay, so we're
That's
saying...
also the incubus too, right?
Yeah.
Similar.
Yeah,
Incubus, succubus.
Yeah, the succubus or incubus, they do it by firkin.
Yeah.
Whereas the old hag just sits on your chest, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Which isn't as fun.
I think all of those could probably be put under sleep paralysis, that category, no?
Yeah, but these people were outside, walking around.
They're just throwing whatever they can at this. They don't want to like realize this guy was just half demon. I don't know.
Yeah, they'll never like be able to dress as snappy as him.
Nope.
And they hate it. They hate it.
They do. They definitely do.
I get it, but I'm not a hater. So like when I hear about the way he's dressed, the way it looks, I'm like, yeah, that's fucking sick.
Mm-hmm.
And like I couldn't pull it off. I know I certainly couldn't, but I respect it.
Oh hell yeah! How could you not?
Well, because people are haters and they just feel I don't know. I can't jump 9 feet tall in the coolest outfit ever.
Yeah. Well, I think it's time to go over what we think this guy was.
Right. I mean, mine will be quick if you want me to take point on this one.
Go ahead, buddy. Go ahead.
Yeah. All right. So realistically, what I think, so I'll just do it in this part. I'll do it realistically, then ODP canon, my version of ODP.
Perfect.
Realistically, I think there was a guy who had a cool fucking outfit, was blowing fire at people, found a way.
Yeah.
Circus style. He was probably a circus performer, getting out shit, working on stuff. He's like, I'm gonna have some fun with this because he learned some shit and he realized he could really stir the turd and cause some mayhem in the streets of London by just doing wacky shit. Who could probably jump really fucking high.
Yep.
Just some trained circus performer.
Yeah,
would show up, could blow fire.
Yeah.
And then, just bounce and peace and laugh because you're not going to catch me. I'm in the circus, dude. This is what I do.
Maybe a trapeze artist.
So, yeah, something like that, one of those wacky, flippers and leapers, And then I think a lot of the other stuff was just people piggybacking off that. I think realistically it was just one guy did a couple things and then another person used that legend to assault women, a couple of them. And because, he was like, I'll just wear these fucking, it was probably just a couple knives. And he was just like, cutting at her. And she was like, they were claws. And he's just whacking away at her with a knife. And, And then I think the rest of it was just people associating things with the first couple ones.
Right.
Where guy was having fun. And then they moved out of town. His circus act moved out of town.
Perfect. I essentially, same thing for me, essentially. I think, yeah. So one of the things that didn't get mentioned in that article was that he strongly had the scent of sulfur, which kind of like added to the whole thing. Oh, well, he's from hell.
Yeah, he's
However, if you have powdered sulfur,
Yeah.
it produces a blue flame.
Right.
So if he was blowing sulfur in people's faces, it's going to smell like fucking sulfur, and it
it'll
produces a blue flame.
And it'll kind of glow white too. You know, they're like, oh, they say it.
Whatever helmet he was wearing was some kind of protective thing.
Yep.
And
Goggles
also
for his eyes, yeah.
Yep, and also to possibly, you know, conceal his identity. I think he actually probably had claws. I think it was very theatrical. He had that cape and he threw it off and he had these claws that came out. I actually think he probably had some kind of
I mean, that'd be
constructed thing.
sick. But even they say that he did that. I don't think he used them to attack people, though. I think the people that used them to attack, you know what I mean? That was more of them just, you know, using knives or whatever. But it goes off of what his original appearance. Like when he first
I think I like the claws.
I'm saying he probably had claws in the
Yeah.
original elongated fingers, and it was all part of his getup.
Sure.
You know, like I did at the one Halloween party when I had the fingers, and it was a hit. It was a total hit. But yeah, and he probably kept all that shit in his big cloak. So like you know, he had all the pockets and all that.
Yeah,
and he had
like
this
a utility belt.
Exactly. And then I think it was the rest of it was just people piggybacking off the performance to commit crimes and hurt.
Yeah, I think he had this one dude maybe went out a couple times, had his fun, you know, fucked around, and then like they said in the beginning of that article when we were talking about London having this tradition of like these local entities, creatures, legends that just like the populace just adds on to. Yeah. And it just turns into a whole thing. Yeah. And I think that they were, you know, they added on to it. And then I think the Penny Dreadfuls helped even more to add to it. And then you just had these copycat people that were just like, hey, you want to go out and, you know, there were some fucking kids who were like, oh, you want to go do some fucking, you know,
Spring Hill Jacks?
Spring Hill Jack shit? They're like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
And that's what they did. And, you know, I think people who were bored or also people who lived in very shitty conditions wanted to believe in, you know, some fun otherworldly shit. So they didn't have to, you know, realize that they had horrible life and horrible jobs, and they chose to focus on that. Not too different from today. Yeah. And, you know, and I think that's what it was. I don't even think you need anything supernatural for this to occur.
No,
I think it's
absolutely.
you know, however, I do very much think that whoever Jack the Ripper was very much like was inspired by this. Like he saw, a guy going out doing this thing. It's almost like a tradition at this point, but you know, clearly he was whatever he was, you know, took it a little bit too far. Yeah. Bit of a knucklehead.
I misspeak sometimes. But now ODP canon version.
Okay.
This is an entity. This is a
Yep.
He's like a Dracula.
Okay.
This is I don't want to say he's necessarily a vampire.
Okay.
But he possesses abilities, and maybe he feeds off the fear, the attention. Like, you know, and he just wants to show off this outfit because he can't go out in the daytime.
Right.
You know, and he's showing up to like show the outfit, and that's what the panic. Like they're like, whoa. The way this guy's dressed, and you know, and they you know sends them into a tizzy because they can't pull it off. The women they're done, wet leg, you know, they're like, I can't believe this guy exists, and that's the Fitz,
right?
It's their first gasm. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. So
and all the other guys around are like, I've never seen this. What is this?
And they're right. Okay, I can go with that. They have spring-heeled gasms.
Yeah, spring-heeled gasms.
A jackgasm.
And all the guys are like, this guy's not manly. He's jumping 9 feet over something. In reality, it's probably like a 5-foot wall that he's grabbing, you know.
Right. But then with all the antics and all the snappy dressing and the giggling, they were just like, whoa.
Yeah. And they're like, not manly at all. You know, like, I can't stand this. My woman's over here gasming.
Yeah. He's like, whatever that is.
Yeah, whatever this is.
What is this?
She seems to love it, but that's why they're like, oh, it's violent.
Yeah, right.
Because they can't do it.
Right. Just like Dracula, it was an offense on like Victorian sensibilities.
Absolutely. And they hated it. They hated it so much.
Yep.
And he is an entity.
Yep.
he did cause the devil's footsteps because he leaped straight up onto that one building, walked
Yep.
across it, jumped down. He was just out for a stroll, that night,
Right.
pondering and thinking about what his next outfit was going to be.
Right. One of those entities of the night that wanders the city streets. We don't know his full intentions.
Yes.
He's some kind of demonic something.
Yes.
He lives here. He has an allotted time. He's allowed to come every once in a while and just wreak havoc for a night. And his favorite thing to do is, for some reason, he finds it hysterical to blow blue flame balls into people's faces and then giggle.
Well, because that's sick.
I mean, it is. And
He's
especially in at that time, people were like, what the fuck?
Yeah. And he's like, this is sick. So I'm going to do this. And also, I'm going to jump in front of some carriages. It's going to be awesome.
But then over time, he was like, you know what? Maybe I can help instead of fuck shit up.
Yeah.
Maybe I can be a good guy. And then
now he's an anti-hero. He's been around long enough.
But then he started being good. And then the devil was like, no. He's like, you're here to sow discord. What the fuck are you doing? And then he brought him back. That's why we haven't seen him in so long. He had his shot.
Well, he did the church thing.
Right.
To appease,
his big catwalk scene.
Yeah, he's like, do you see now, Father?
I like it.
Yeah. And that's why we haven't seen him, because he's somewhere brooding right now. He's like
Possibly.
it's like a drippy cave somewhere.
Or he's just back in hell.
Drippy cave.
Drippy cave. Okay. All right.
Maybe
Ken
hell
wants the drippy cave with the gasms.
Something. Yeah. Well, go hand in hand, bro. I didn't make the story.
Hey man, it's fun shit. I mean, I'm surprised it took us this long to get to this one, because this is so weird.
Yeah, it's the weirdest fucking story, but it's ODP canon.
It is, and I think it. Like we said, it very much just is some dude got the the antsies in his pantsies, and he just had a whole thing going.
Dudes are known to do that, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Oh shit!
And he did it well, and he was dressed to the nines, and people just weren't fucking ready for it.
I love it so much. He's just like they're all like, "Yo, this guy was the best dresser. Did he terrorize me? Yeah, but he was fucking. That outfit was fucking nuts, dude."
Yeah, no, it's some funny shit. I'd be surprised if you find out that this influenced a lot more things. You know what I mean?
It was the first. It's like the first time anyone saw Prince. You know what I mean? They were like, "What the fuck?" And then
maybe Prince was him. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Instead of him blowing flames, he just shredded guitar and made bangers. And it's kind of the same thing. Yeah, white ladies were gasming for the first.
Well, you know what? I think this probably very much did influence Dracula, because Dracula was 1897, I think.
Oh, it had to.
I think.
Dude. It had
so
to.
This was in the Penny Dreadfuls, which we know Stoker did read. So I wouldn't be surprised if this whole thing was like, well dressed. Let's make him foreign. Doing all sorts of weirdo shit with his cape and his boots and his giggles. I mean, he was like, maybe Dracula doesn't giggle. They're like, yeah, it's a good idea.
Don't do that. Make
the
him
first draft of Dracula has giggling.
Yeah. Then he giggled as he bit her throat. He was like,
no.
He's like, he wore a medallion. Yeah,
go with that. or whatever that is.
Yeah.
I always thought it was like an award. He won it for something. Like best vampire.
That was. It was the best vampire award.
Yeah.
Yeah. He got it at the Sexiest Cryptid Awards.
Well, he just comes in and they're just like, oh, that's Dracula.
Yeah, that's the winner.
Yeah, that's the winner. No, I think
it's like the first time Will Smith walked into the VMA episode.
All right.
I don't know. Or something.
Before he started slapping people.
Yeah, right.
Or, letting his wife run wild. Exactly. Well, I love it, man. Spring Heel Jack. I've known about the story a long time. I know you have too. I think he influenced Jack the Ripper and Dracula, in my opinion, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, and honestly, this was like a couple years ago that I first heard about this. I'm going to be honest with you.
Oh, really? Okay.
I haven't known this a long time. Like I said, it was one of those ones that I randomly.
Yeah.
It might have fucking been bedtime stories. I don't even know. It was one of them.
Right.
And I was like, "What the fuck am I listening to? Like, what?
Yeah.
What is this story?"
Yeah.
And
no.
I immediately the wheels started turning, the outfits, and we pretty much came to the same conclusion at different times, because we didn't even talk about it really.
Yeah.
All our text messages leading up to this episode was, "What the fuck was that?"
Yeah, blue flames?
Yeah, that's literally what it was. It was literally me and you just going, "What the fuck? Yeah, let's talk about that. What the fuck was that?"
Yeah, how many inches were those heels? We don't even know. I'm imagining like Kiss style boots. You know what I'm saying? Like fucking.
It might have been. I'm thinking of a different style boot. I'm not allowed to mention here.
Oh boy.
But when you know, post show, the wrap up
Sure.
show, we'll discuss.
I'm imagining like moon shoes. Remember when we were kids? Those fucking
yeah.
trampoline shoes.
Yeah, I remember them.
He patented them. He's like, now it's the
bought a
time.
pair.
I never had a pair, but I knew kids who did, and they didn't work for shit.
Yeah, it was years after
Yeah.
Payless had them. My mom was like, "Why don't you try them on?" You know,
Yeah.
but she got a kick out of me trying them.
Yeah.
And I was just like, "This is fucking stupid," you know. She's like, "No,
Mom,
jump around, idiot."
Yeah, jump around. And she laughed at you. She's
Yeah,
like, you
yeah.
dork. Go get
Yeah.
real shoes.
Yeah, the things were coming undone. She's like, "All right,
Yeah.
idiot, go grab some Reeboks."
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah,
Yep. And you can blame that all on Spring Hill Jack
yeah, absolutely.
because he patented those shoes.
Yeah, and everyone wanted to be like him. So
Yeah. Hey, man.
yeah, I love the character. I
Yep.
think that's all we got for this one.
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, you know, we could just sit here and speculate, but that's it. I mean, he was just, you know, he was the David Bowie of his era. And
Cool dude.
Yep.
Introduced the London to gasms, and that's about it.
It's possible. It's possible. There is a possibility that Londoners didn't know how to orgasm before Spring Hill
Spring Hill
Jack.
Jack. And that's why
You heard it here first, folks.
and that's why the story is still here, gang, because of that fact right there.
Yep,
But all right, guys, for this episode of Other Dangerous Podcast, I'm Ken James.
And I'm Chase McKittrick.
And as always, have a spooky evening. Thank you for listening to Other Dangerous Podcasts. Have you encountered the other dangers? If so, you can email us at otherdangerouspodcast@gmail.com. And if you'd like to have a discussion about the paranormal, you can find us at Other Dangerous Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. There you can find submitted pictures, videos, and artwork from listeners. We are now streaming on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else podcasts are streamed. And after listening, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so we can continue to bring you the other dangers.